There are two types of people in this world. Those who insult and those who react. And the moment you react, you lose. Machiavelli understood something that most people still don't. Insults aren't just expressions of anger or disrespect. They are invitations to reveal your weakness, to show your emotional leash, to demonstrate just how easily you can be pulled into someone else's frame. Most people think they're defending their honor when they respond, but all they're really doing is proving that the insult worked. Now the attacker knows exactly where to press next. And worse, everyone else now knows it too. So how did Machiavelli deal with insults? Not with apologies, not with arguments, not with revenge. He did something far more brutal. He used the insult to rearrange the entire power structure of the room, because the goal isn't to win the insult. The goal is to show that you were never competing. And once you do that, the insulter becomes smaller, not you. Let's dissect this. First, understand the psychology of the insult. It's never just about words. An insult is an escalation probe. It's designed to force you to respond in one of three predictable ways: defend yourself and prove the attacker's words carry weight. Attack back and show that you're emotionally invested. Laugh along and reveal that you'd rather blend than confront. But there's a fourth response. Colder, quieter, more lethal. Machiavelli didn't give reactions, he gave frames. He knew that whoever controls the frame controls the narrative. And the moment you step into the insulter's emotional arena, you've already lost it. So he never stepped in. He stood above it. He made silence heavier than retaliation. He made stillness more threatening than words. He didn't answer the insult. He redefined it. When someone mocked him, he didn't smirk. He didn't look away. He watched them quietly, intensely, as if to say, "I'm not offended, I'm calculating." And that is what shattered the room. Because no one fears a man who gets angry, but everyone fears the man who takes an insult and says nothing. Why? Because it means one thing. He's seen this before and he's already decided what happens next. That is presence. That is control. And that is why insults stopped being fun when they were aimed at Machiavelli. Because the attacker didn't get a reaction. He got silence followed by consequence, delivered later indirectly and with surgical precision. You want to break someone psychologically? Don't react when they expect rage. Don't smile when they expect pain. Don't move at all. Make them uncomfortable with their own noise, because the moment they realize you don't flinch, their power evaporates. But Machiavelli didn't stop there. He understood that silence isn't just resistance, it's positioning. When an insult is hurled at you publicly and you remain still, something strange happens. The room begins to shift. Eyes turn. People wait. They expect an outburst, but it doesn't come. Instead, you look at the insulter as if they were beneath your focus, as if they just revealed their own fragility. And that's when the crowd begins to recalibrate. Wait, why didn't he react? Does he know something we don't? Is the insult actually weak? Is the attacker the fool here? And just like that, you've redirected social perception without lifting a finger. Because here's what most people don't understand. Insults only land when they hit something real. If someone calls you a coward and you are one, you flinch. If they call you weak and you secretly fear it, you react. If they mock your past and you haven't made peace with it, you spiral. But if you've already faced your shadows, if you know your flaws and don't hide from them, then the insult becomes a boomerang. It hits nothing and returns to the hand that threw it. That's the Machiavellian advantage. Self-awareness so sharp it makes you uninsultable, because no one can use what you've already owned. No one can weaponize what you've already mastered. No one can destabilize a man who's already done the internal war. But let's go even colder. Machiavelli didn't just end insults. He sometimes provoked them. Why? Because he wanted to expose his enemies. He knew that the person who insults first is almost always revealing insecurity. So he created environments where people felt just comfortable enough to speak loosely. He'd offer subtle comments that were just ambiguous, enough to trigger a fragile ego. And once the insult came out, he had them, because now they revealed emotion. Now they showed where they could be broken. Now they couldn't take it back. This is the trap most people walk into. They insult to feel strong, but in the Kadishichuan presence of someone who doesn't react, that strength collapses into embarrassment, because now everyone sees it. They lashed out to prove something, and it failed. You want to dismantle someone with high status? Let them insult you in front of others. Stay quiet. Look at them like they've just made a mistake and then move on without saying a word. The silence will follow them like a shadow. People will remember what you didn't do, and the absence of your response will speak louder than any comeback ever could. Machiavelli didn't win by overpowering. He won by watching others expose themselves and simply making sure the right people noticed. So, the next time you're insulted, ask yourself, do you need to fight, or can you let them destroy themselves in real time? Because nothing is more Machiavellian than letting someone hang themselves with their own words while you stand there still and untouchable, watching the room turn in your favor. There's a reason Machiavelli never believed in clearing your name, because the moment you feel the need to defend your image, you've already conceded that someone else owns it. That's what insults really are, power probes. They're not thrown to defeat you. They're thrown to see if you'll defeat yourself. And that's the move most people make. They hear the insult and they immediately started explaining. That's not true. You misunderstood me. I didn't mean it like that. They think they're correcting perception, but all they're doing is placing their identity into the hands of the attacker. Now, the insulter decides who you are, and you're stuck trying to negotiate your value back. Machiavelli would call this what it is, a trap for the weak. He didn't defend himself. He didn't explain. He didn't correct lies. He simply made the lie irrelevant, because when your energy remains untouched, people assume you know something they don't, and now they start questioning the insulter, not you. That's the reversal. Not by arguing, not by disproving, but by refusing to engage on their level. And this refusal done with cold stillness does more than silence the attacker. It turns the insult into a mirror, because now everyone sees it for what it was. Not a statement of truth, but a desperate grab for attention. A last-ditch effort to rattle someone who clearly cannot be rattled. And what's more threatening than that? But let's take it further. Machiavelli didn't just neutralize insults. He knew how to use them. He saw insults as free intelligence. The moment someone insults you, especially in public, they're telling you three critical things where their mind lives. Because insults always reveal more about the speaker than the target. What they envy, because no one attacks what they don't secretly notice. How they want others to perceive you, which means they've already accepted you as a threat. So when someone mocks your discipline, they're insecure about their own chaos. When they question your success, they're haunted by their failure. When they call you arrogant, it's because they've already compared themselves and lost. Machiavelli understood this instinctively. He didn't just take the insult, he read it. And in reading it, he saw the exact weak point in the attacker's armor. Most people respond to the insult and ignore the message behind it. But the Machiavellian listens not for pain, but for leverage. The insult tells you where they bleed, where they're afraid, where they're watching you too closely. And now you know what to never say or what to say at the perfect time. That's not defense. That's positional warfare. You don't play the insult game. You let them reveal their openings while thinking they've wounded you. Let's talk about humiliation, because sometimes an insult does land. Sometimes it's public, loud, unexpected, and for a second you flinch. Your face tightens. Your body reacts. Everyone saw it. Now what? Machiavelli would tell you. This. Don't try to recover. Don't try to make it better. Don't explain yourself. Do something much colder. Freeze the new a moment. Then absorb it fully. You stare at the attacker, not with anger, but with blank awareness, like you're watching a dog bark. No smile, no speech, no tension. Let everyone feel the silent stretch. Let the discomfort fall on them, because now the spotlight isn't on you. It's on how you're handling it. And when you don't break, something eerie happens. People get uncomfortable, not for you, but for the attacker. They start realizing he didn't even move. He's not even reacting. What kind of man just takes it like that? And that's when you reclaim the moment, not through dominance, but through refusal, because everyone's waiting for a show. And the most Machiavellian move is to cancel the show entirely. But sometimes silence isn't enough. Sometimes you need to respond. And when you do, it must be surgical. Here's the formula Machiavelli would use. Short, no long rebuttals. Sharp, one sentence max, undeniable. It should land like a closing argument, not an opening debate. Example, if someone calls you fake, you'd know. If they say, you're arrogant, you're not used to confidence. If they say you're overconfident, you mistake certainty for volume. Then go silent. Let them chase the echo. Let the room breathe in the aftermath. Because now you've done something rare. You've hit back once, and with such clarity that nothing else needs to be said. That's not a comeback. That's a cut. And Machiavelli always preferred cuts over clashes. Why? Because clashes create chaos. But cuts leave silence. Silence that makes people remember what you didn't say and fear what you still could. This is how you tackle insults. Not by playing the jukes game, but by owning the arena. You shift the dynamic. You flip the frame. You make every insult a confession and every silence a verdict. Most people want to be right. Machiavelli wanted to be untouchable. That's what you aim for. Not victory over the attacker, but irrelevance of the attack. Because when people realize that no insult works on you, they stop throwing them. Not out of kindness, but out of fear of what you're capable of. If you ever decided to speak, there's a moment in every social interaction where power shifts. Not because of what's said, but because of how someone handles being disrespected. Machiavelli knew this moment well. He didn't wait for insults to stop. He waited for the right insult to expose the balance of power. And when it came, he didn't react emotionally. He made it a public failure, not for himself, but for the one who dared to throw it. Let's break down exactly how that's done. When someone insults you, they are taking a risk. They are gambling on your insecurity. They're hoping to corner you, provoke you, fluster you. But if you've trained your inner world, if you've rehearsed stillness the way others rehearse comebacks, you'll do something they never expect. You'll make the room turn on them. Here's how. Let's say the insult comes mid-con. Conversation, subtle, sarcastic, public. Most people either laugh awkwardly or fire back emotionally. But Machiavelli's method, he would let the insult sit in, the air untouched like a rotten fruit, tossed on a marble floor. He would let the silence expand, let the insult hang, unreceived, and then with complete calm, he'd do one of three things. One, ask a sincere question, something like, "Is that how you see me?" Now, the insulter is suddenly on the defensive. They have to own what they just said in front of everyone. Most won't. Most will retreat. No, I didn't mean it like that. I was just kidding. Relax. And that's when you've already won, because now they've shown the room. Their insult was cheap. Their dominance was performative, and your calmness forced them into disowning their own words. A man who backs down from his own statement has no credibility, and Machiavelli loved exposing that fracture. 2. Repeat the insult, but flatly. No tone, no smile, no sarcasm. You think I'm a fraud. You believe I'm weak. You're saying I don't deserve respect. This isn't weakness. It's containment. You're showing that you heard it, but won't react the way they want. Now, the room is uncomfortable, not because of you, but because you've made everyone look at the insult clearly. And most insults fall apart when examined slowly. They rely on tone, timing, crowd distraction, their ambushes. But when you slow them down, strip away the laugh track and expose them to the silence, people realize, wait, that wasn't powerful, that was petty. And again, now the attacker looks small, not because you humiliated them, but because you held a mirror and let the silence do the rest. 3. Redirect the spotlight entirely. This is the most elite response. Let them insult you, then immediately pivot the conversation as if nothing of substance was said, not in a dismissive way, but with the smooth confidence of someone who didn't even notice the shot. Anyway, what I was saying, let's bring the focus back, right? So the point was this. Tactic does one powerful thing. It publicly ranks the insult as irrelevant. The attacker gets ignored. The audience in Loda sees no flinch and the narrative moves without them. Now they're stuck. They either escalate and reveal desperation or stay quiet and accept defeat. Either way, you win the frame. Because Machiavelli's real goal was never to win the insult. His goal was to remove its power from the room entirely. He didn't defend himself. He let the insult dissolve into silence and redirection until it no longer mattered. But let's go darker, because sometimes the best way to destroy the insult is to validate it on your terms. This is the tactic of strategic ownership. Let them call you ruthless. You say, I prefer precise. They call you manipulative. You say, people confuse discipline with control. They mock your past. You say, it built me. I let nothing go to waste. What does this do? It breaks their attack structure, because now their insult becomes a foundation, not a weapon. They wanted you to resist. Instead, you refrain. Now the insult becomes part of your legend, and anyone watching thinks if that's what they're throwing at him and he doesn't budge, maybe it's true, and maybe that's why he's strong. This is where Machiavelli operated best, where insult becomes myth, where attack becomes signal, where the thing meant to shame you becomes the reason people respect you. And finally, understand this. Machiavelli never wanted to avoid insults. He wanted to attract them at the right time from the right people. Because the moment someone insults you publicly, they show everyone else one thing. I view this person as a threat. No one mocks a nobody. No one disrespects someone who's beneath them. They insult because they want to dent your presence. They want to feel taller. So when it happens, don't think, why, me? Think, of course me, because it means you're visible, and visibility always invites attack. The weak fear it, the average resent it, but the Machiavellian, he welcomes it because every insult is a test, and every test is a chance to show the room that you are not just calm, you are untouchable. Not, well, because you're better, but because you don't need to fight. You've already won before a word was ever spoken. There comes a moment, if you handle an insult correctly, where the entire room shifts. Not because you spoke, not because you defended, but because you did nothing. And yet the tension reorganized around you. That's what Machiavelli aimed for. Not the clash, not the applause, but the dominance of stillness. So profound that the one who insulted you begins to doubt themselves. That's when the reversal begins. Because here's the secret most people miss. The moment someone insults you and it doesn't move you, they feel exposed. Why? Because insults are built on expectation. They rely on prediction. The attacker imagines you'll respond emotionally, that you'll flinch, that you will stumble, and when you don't, they're left alone on a social stage with a weapon that didn't fire. And now, they are the one who looks reactive, insecure, desperate. Machiavelli used this dynamic to create a reputation fortress, not because people feared his words, but because they feared his lack of reaction. A man who doesn't react to provocation becomes unreadable, and by unreadable men are dangerous. Let's go even colder. When you become the kind of person who never defends themselves, who never responds to slander, mockery, or cheap shots, something strange begins to happen. The attacks don't stop. They get louder. Why? Because people get frustrated when they can't control you. So they escalate. They push harder. They mock more publicly. They poke in more personal ways, not because you're weak, but because your silence is triggering their insecurity. They need a reaction to validate their power. And every time you don't give it, you're telling them something brutal. I don't need to prove anything, but you do. And the more they escalate without effect, the more everyone watching sees the truth. This isn't dominance. This is a tantrum. Now you look like power and they look like desperation. This is what Machiavelli meant when he said, a prince must learn to appear strong even in stillness, not to intimidate, but to create a presence so stable that even the sharpest insults fall flat against it. And that's what you're building every time you let an insult collapse in. Silence. Not passivity, presence, but let's take it one step further, because sometimes silence isn't the end. Sometimes you respond not to fight, not to explain, but to turn the knife with elegance. This is where the Machiavellian counter-insult comes in. What does that mean? It's not a direct insult. It's a strategic fracture. A phrase so subtle, so calm, so toneless. It doesn't even register as aggression. It sounds like, you always talk the loudest when you're unsure. You must have needed to say that. Interesting. I wouldn't have revealed that about myself so quickly. Now look at what you've done. You didn't defend. You didn't strike. You made a statement that forces them to reflect, and everyone else to reconsider what they just witnessed. That's not retaliation. That's social surgery. You've taken the spotlight off yourself and placed it back on them under a harsher light. And now they're stuck, because if they escalate, they look unstable. If they retreat, they look weak. You've boxed them in with less than 10 words. That's Machiavellian. Control, precision, no wasted movement. Now let's talk about the long game. What happens after the insult? Most people move on emotionally, but not strategically. they think it's over. Machiavelli knew better, because even if the insult didn't land, it's still a signal. This person sees you as a threat. This person is building a narrative. This person is planting seeds of perception. So what do? You still don't react then, but you remember everything: their tone, their timing, their audience, their motive. And later, when it benefits you, not them, you act. You isolate them subtly. You block their influence silently. You speak to their allies with calm suspicion. You ask soft questions like, has he always been like that? I didn't expect that from him. You never frame them as an enemy. You just let others reach that conclusion for you. And soon they're not insulting anymore. They're explaining. They're correcting. They're backtracking because they realize the man they thought they were could challenge with mockery was not someone to mock. You want to master insult control? Burn this into your mind. Never react when they expect it. Never defend when they attack your image. Never explain when they distort your words. Never joke when they test your strength. And never fight when silence will bury them deeper. Instead, let the insult reveal them, not you. Let your silence create confusion, not validation. Let your stillness become the story people tell after you leave, because the man who flinches becomes the target, but the man who absorbs and observes, he becomes the threat. They can't quite figure out the presence. They can't diminish the reputation that begins to grow without a single word of defense. And that is how Machiavelli would tackle an insult, not by overpowering the attacker, but by making everyone else realize that man is not someone you try to humiliate, unless you're ready to be humiliated by your own attempt.